Scott McTominay is an absolutely wrong partner for Kobbie Mainoo. Welcome to the United Hotspot, and here I am to give you some of the common mistakes the Tinkerman Erik Ten Hag keeps making. That, I think, make him look like a bad manager, to be honest. Anyway, let's get into it. I hope you have subscribed. Now, Manchester United's biggest problem for the longest time was the big space we leave in the middle that exposes the back line, then inadvertently exposes the goalkeeper, Andre Onana. And of course, a lot of goals kept getting to Onana. And I was here consistently saying the issue was we're playing a single pivot. One holding midfielder cannot be enough, especially in the Premier League, to man that big space in the middle to shield the back line. And it took Erik Ten Hag, the Tinkerman, some time to figure it out. And when he did eventually, what happens? We have our most balanced game of the season, the goalless win over Liverpool. Yes, that was intended. The pun is intended. Because that was such a complete game for United that it felt like a victory to most United supporters. To be honest, it was because Kobbie Mainoo played next to another natural holding midfielder in Sofiane Amrabat. And Manchester United, even when Liverpool, like we expected, had the ball more than us, they came at us like a body rush, we were still able to contain them. We were never under pressure, we were never under danger, we were never too exposed. But what happens solves a big problem we've had in the middle. The next game goes back to square one. The captain, Bruno Fernandes, is back into contention, and obviously, someone has got to make way. Like, really, they had to. And do you know what he does? It is Sofiane Amrabat who is sacrificed ahead of the beloved favorite Scott McTominay. Now, I'm never at Carrington, never been to Carrington. I don't know what Scott McTominay does in training. Erik Ten Hag was talking about his communication. He even concealed him as captain before the game. Yeah, I know my captain. And he was all, smiling sheepishly with him saying that on his face. And my captain, when the media asked him because Bruno wasn't there. And yes, he was the captain, played number 10, which was good. But when it came to West Ham United, when Bruno is back, you don't sacrifice Sofiane Amrabat, a guy who was part of solving a big problem you've had. The reason we are conceding goals from Birmingham, from whichever all these forms of weak teams, nobody's, was because we are leaving a lot of spaces in the middle. But you go back again, Bruno comes in, and Scott McTominay cannot be benched. You bench Sofiane Amrabat and play Scott McTominay alongside Kobbie Mainoo. Worst decision Erik Ten Hag has made. You know what? I was even telling people, and I'm not blaming Scott McTominay for the error that Kobbie Mainoo made, but I'm thinking if Kobbie Mainoo had missed that ball, had made that error with Sofiane Amrabat playing as the holding midfielder next to him, probably Mohamed Kudus wouldn't have those 25 acres of space he had to go and find the back of the net to send that long shot. Because when you're playing with two natural holding midfielders who are there, you close the gaps. Even when you make such an error, Amrabat would have been there to cover him up, to cover Kobbie Mainoo up quickly. By the time Mainoo picks himself up also to try and come back, the gap is a little narrower. So maybe that goal wouldn't have gone in. But you see, in that game, Scott McTominay probably at that time was probably hiding somewhere behind Rasmus Højlund. I mean, Kobbie had a lot of space. He was a drop in an ocean of space. And obviously, a simple mistake like that, you will be punished. That is why we are being punished in earlier games. Guys, that does not take a manager to see. But Erik Ten Hag, the Tinkerman, and his love and fascination with Scott McTominay is making him make the wrong decisions. And these decisions are hurting us. And inadvertently, they are hurting him. Why not stick to the basics? It's a basic that in the Premier League, if you need two holding midfielders if you're a team like Manchester United. And it worked. It gave us the most balanced game we've had in the season. But the next game he tinkers again. Why fix it when it's working? It's even you've just tested it and it's working. You haven't even given it a chance. You're going back to Scott. Scott playing as a number 8. Scott playing as a holding midfielder is the worst usage of human resource I've seen in football. You would rather, at the very worst, if Scott has to be there and even Bruno cannot be benched, you would rather put Bruno to play next to Kobbie and play Scott as a number 10. But I do not want to see Kobbie anywhere playing close to Scott McTominay. He is an absolutely wrong partner because Scott McTominay keeps hiding. In that position, you can't hide. You have to be there. You have to be visible. You have to be seen. Tell me how many times you see Scott McTominay in a game. You're either seeing him turning up with some random goal, shot at goal, that ends up in a goal, or at times it doesn't, or if he's fouling someone. I don't see Scott playing. He's hiding from the ball all the time. He cannot be a holding midfielder. Play Sofiane Amrabat. I would understand if you bench Sofiane Amrabat for Casemiro and play Casemiro alongside Kobbie Mainoo. But Erik Ten Hag, I don't know what Scott has done. But by the way, we are suffering a lot because of Scott and his love affair with Erik Ten Hag. It is costing us a lot of games. It is giving us a lot of pain. I don't think we need to see it against Aston Villa. He disrespected West Ham United. And he felt good because he felt like United were possessing the ball, ineffective possession of the ball. But you see, that was not the problem. The problem is when we don't have the ball, we are exposed in the middle with one holding midfielder, and that is exactly why we were punished by Mohamed Kudus. For me, Erik Ten Hag should stop tinkering like that. Number two, big issue that Erik Ten Hag has got to solve is the right wing. The right wing is too predictable. Anthony Dos Santos is too predictable. Whatever he does on the ball, I would comfortably mark Anthony Dos Santos. He can run around, he works hard. He can work hard and run around and go forward and come back and turn around and dance and all. But I will still know he won't do anything effective, anything hurting. Why not try out new things? Put a Facundo Pellistri there. Unpredictable, different dimension. He's a natural winger. This inverted winger is not doing what he's supposed to do. He can't do half of the things Ian Robben used to do as an inverted winger, or half of the things that Mohamed Salah can do at times as an inverted winger, playing on the right. Then put Amad Diallo there. He's fit now, and Erik Ten Hag has confirmed it. Diallo is a natural. He will do things with consumptuous ease, easily. Put him there. Let him excite the fans. Let him make the right wing entertaining. You see, Erik Ten Hag is doing with Anthony, with the right wing, what he did with the left wing. He spent a long time without making the decision that was obvious. We made the decision for him. It took him so many games to make it. Marcus Rashford was dead on the left wing. It was dead, and clearly it was the time to try out Alejandro Garnacho. It took him a long time to do it. When he did it, we were vindicated. Why doesn't he do the same thing with the right wing? There are no minutes that Erik Ten Hag is going to give to Anthony that are going to make him a better winger than what we've seen. We've seen the best of Anthony. There is nothing more to see. For an 85 million pounds player, really, put the young kids, the Pellistris, the Diallos, if they are fit, put them there. Let them make the wing exciting. Wingers are supposed to be exciting. Is Anthony exciting? Not to me. He's not dangerous. He doesn't play killer passes. His passes are always sluggish a bit, that even for the man at the end of it, there is not so much they can do. So for me, really, I think Ten Hag has got to stop tinkering. Why fix it when it's working? You do one right thing and then you mess it up yourself in the next game. For me, that's a big issue. But the biggest take home for me from this is that Scott McTominay should not be playing as a number. He should not be playing next to Kobbie Mainoo. If we are going to play a double pivot, it should be with the right people. Sofiane Amrabat and Kobbie Mainoo should be the two obvious starters for as long as Casemiro is not there. For as long as they are fit, they should be the two obvious starters in the team. They give us balance. Who he puts as number 10, it's up to him. He can bench Bruno if he likes, or put Bruno on the right because it's even dead with Anthony. Put him on the right if he has to start. Play your Scott McTominay as a number 10, but Scott cannot be playing next to Kobbie. At the very worst, let Bruno Fernandes play next to Kobbie and Scott McTominay plays the number 10. At the very worst, that is. But why not play Amrabat? He played well against Liverpool. Erik, you might need Ten Hag soon, now that we've got a new man running football. We are watching you, fam. We love you. We've backed you. But at times you make it so difficult for us to keep backing you.